Poking and prodding. The lady comes in again. She brings an animal doctor with an awful smell and a dangerous-looking bag. He spends an hour with Ruby, poking and prodding. He looks at her eyes, her feet, her trunk. When he's done with Ruby, he enters my cage. I wish I could hide under the knot tag like Bob. Instead, I have to do nice, loud chest beat. And after a moment, the doctor retreats. We're going to need to put this one under, he says. I'm not sure what he means, but I strut around my cage, feeling victorious anyway. No painting. No one asked me to paint today. No one asked Ruby to perform. There are no shows. There are no visitors. Unless you count the protesters. Max stays in his office all day long. More boxes. I wake up from a long morning nap. Bob is on my belly, but he isn't asleep. He's watching the ring, where 4 men are placing a big, large metal box. It's me-sized. What's that? I ask, still blurry from sleep. Bob nuzzles my chin. I believe that box is for you, my friend. I'm not sure what he means, me. They brought in a bunch of boxes while you were sleeping. Looks to me like they're taking you, the whole lot of you, he says, casually licking a paw. Even Thelma. Taking? I repeat, taking us where? Well, some of you are going to the zoo, probably. Others to an animal shelter where humans will try to find them homes. Bob shakes himself. So, I guess all the good things must come to an end, huh? His voice is bright, but his eyes are far away and they're sad. I'm going to miss your stomach, big guy. Bob shuts his eyes. He makes an odd noise in his throat. But what about you? I ask. I can't tell if Bob's just pretending to sleep, but he doesn't answer me. I gaze at that huge shadowy box and suddenly I understand how Ruby feels. I don't want to go in that box. The last time I was in a box, my sister died. When George and Julia came that night, George doesn't get his mop out or his broom out. He gathers up his tools, belongings, while Julia runs to my cage. This is my last night, Ivan, she says, as she presses her palms into my glass. Mac fired my dad. Tears slip down her cheeks. But the zoo lady said maybe they'll have an opening for him there in a while, cleaning cages and stuff. I walk to the glass that separates us, and I put my hand where Julia's palm and her fingers, finger to finger. And my hand is bigger, but they're not so different. I'm going to miss you, Julia says, and Ruby, and Bob. But this is a good thing. Really it is. You deserve a different life. I stare into her dark eyes, and I wish I had words for her. Sniffling, she goes to Ruby's cage. Have a good life, Ruby, she says. Ruby makes a little rumbling sound. She puts her trunk between the bars and touches Julia's shoulder. Where's Bob anyway? Julia asks. She looks around. Under the tables, in my cage, by the trash can. Dad? She calls, have you seen Bob? Bob? Nope, George says. Julia's brow wrinkles. What's going to happen to him, Dad? What if Max shuts down the whole mall? He says he's going to try to keep it open without the animals, George says. He stuffs his hand in his pocket. I'm worried about Bob, too. But he's a survivor. You know what, Dad? Julia gets a gleam in her eye. Bob could live with us. Mom loves dogs. And he could keep her company. And, Jules, I'm not even sure I have a job yet. I may not be able to feed you, let alone some mutt. My dog, walking money. Sorry, Jules. Julia nods. I understand. She starts to leave and then runs back to my cage. I almost forgot. This is for you, Ivan. She slips a piece of paper into my cage. It's a drawing of Ruby and me. We're eating yogurt raisins. Ruby is playing with another baby elephant, and I'm holding hands with a lovely gorilla. She has red lips and a flower in her hair. I look, as I always do, in Julia's pictures, like an elegant fellow. But something is different about this drawing. In this picture, I'm smiling. Click. The door of my cage is propped open. I can't stop staring at it. My door is Open? The giant box has been moved, and it's open too. The humans have pushed it up against my doorway. If I walk through my door, I enter that box. The zoo lady, whose name is Maya, is here again. Click, yogurt raisin. Click, tiny marshmallow. Click, ripe papaya. Click, ooh, apple slice. An hour after hour, click after click, I look over at Ruby. She waits to see what I will do. I touch the box. I sniff the dark interior where the ripe mango awaits. Click, click, click. I have to do it. Ruby is watching me from between the bars of the cage, and this box is the way out, so I step inside. Idea. After I leave the box and step into my cage, I get an idea, a good one. I tell Bob he can sneak into my box with me, live in the zoo. Have you forgotten I'm a wild beast, Ivan? He says, sniffing the floor for crumbs. I'm untamed. I'm undaunted. Bob samples a piece of celery, spits it out. Ugh. Besides, they'd notice. Humans are dumb, but they're not that dumb. Respect. Ivan, Ruby says, do you think the other elephants will like me? I think they'll love you, Ruby. You'll be part of the family. Do you think the other gorillas will like you, Ruby asks. I'm a silverback, Ruby. I'm a leader. I pull back my shoulders and hold my head up really high. They don't have to like me, but they will respect me. Even as I tell her this, I wonder if I can ever command their respect. I haven't had much practice being a gorilla, much less than a silverback. Do you think the other elephants will know my jokes? If they don't, I tell her, you can teach them. Ruby flaps her ears and she flicks her tail. You know what, Ivan? What, I ask. I think I'm going to go into the box tomorrow. I gaze at her fondly. I think that's a good idea, and I think Stella would have agreed. Do you think the other elephants will know how to play tag? I love tag. Me too, I say, thinking the nimble sister racing through the brush when we always was out of my reach. Photo. Late at night, Mac opens my cage. The full moon falls on his sagging shoulders. He seems smaller somehow. Bob instantly alerts, leaps off my stomach, and dives under knot tag. Don't bother hiding, dog, Mac says. I know you sleep in here. Mac settles into my tire swing. Might as well stay one more night. Your buddy's leaving tomorrow. Tomorrow? My stomach drops. I'm not ready. I need more time. I haven't said my goodbyes. I haven't thought this through. Mac pulls out a small photo of his shirt pocket. It's me when I was young. Mac and I ate in the front of the seat of his convertible. I'm wearing a baseball cap, and I'm eating an ice cream cone. I was a handsome lad, but I have to admit, I look ridiculous. Nothing like a real gorilla. We had some laughs, didn't we, Guy? Mac says. Remember when we went on that roller coaster, or that time I tried to teach you how to play basketball? Mac shakes his head, chuckling. You had a lousy jump shot. He stands and sighs and looks around. He puts his photo back in his pocket. I'm going to really miss you, Ivan, he says, and then he leaves, and he won't look back. Leaving. Early in the morning, Maya arrives with many other humans. Some have white coats. Some have rustling papers. They are hushed, but they are determined. Ruby enters her box first. I'm scared, Ivan, she calls from inside her box. I don't want to leave you. A part of me doesn't want her to leave either, but I know I can't tell her that. Think of all the amazing stories you can share with your new family, I say. Ruby falls silent. I'll tell them your elephant joke, she says, after a long pause. The one about the refrigerator? Oh, I bet they like that one. And be sure to tell them about Bob and Julia and me. I clear my throat. And Stella. I remember everyone, Ruby says, especially you. Before I can say any more, they roll the cage out in the waiting truck. Now it's my turn. Bob is hiding in the corner beyond my pool. The humans don't even notice him. While they're busy making sure my box is ready, Bob sneaks over. He licks my chin. And in case there are any leftovers, you, I whisper, are the one and only Bob. I reach for my knot tag. She's limp and rag without her. Stuffing. Dribbles of paint to cover her fur. I hold it out to Bob. He tilts his head, confused. To help you sleep, I say. Bob takes her in his teeth, and he slips away. Good boy. Good, Ivan, good boy, Maya says when I lumber into my box. I hear the clicker, and I'm rewarded with a tiny marshmallow. And when I'm settled, Maya gives me a sweet drink that tastes of mango and something bitter. My eyes grow heavy, and I want to see what's happening, but next I'm sleepy, so sleepy. I dream I'm with Tag, and that we're swinging from the vines while Stella watches. The sun slices through the thick ceiling of the trees, and the breeze tastes like fruit. Moving. My eyes flutter open. The box is moving. I'm in a grumbling belly of some great beast, so I fall back asleep.